In every corner of Africa, stories breathe, tales buried in dust, whispered through firelight. You're about to hear one of them. Welcome to African Horror Stories. Egyptian folklore, the Qareen's echo. The heart of Cairo is a loud, ancient machine fueled by dust, heat, and relentless human energy. It is a city of magnificent chaos where time often feels curved and the past breathes down the neck of the present. Yet in his small, meticulously ordered apartment in the Zamalek district, Adam had built a fortress against disorder. Adam was a journalist, a good one. He thrived on facts, logic, and routine. His desk was always clean, his deadlines were always met, and his mind was a filing cabinet with every memory indexed and cross-referenced. In a city where nothing stayed still, Adam was the anchor of his own reality. But anchors only hold when the ground beneath them is solid. The troubles began, as they often do, with a tiny, meaningless disruption. He was making coffee, a ritual performed exactly the same way every morning for 7 years. He reached for his favorite porcelain mug, the one his fiancée, Zahra, had given him. He swore he had cleaned it and placed it on the top shelf the night before, but now it wasn't there. He searched the counter, the drying rack, the cabinets. Nothing. Puzzled, he poured the coffee into an older, chipped mug. That evening, however, the porcelain mug was back, sitting perfectly clean and dry on the top shelf, exactly where he expected to find it, exactly where it had not been that morning. Adam chalked it up to fatigue, a simple memory slip. But the slip felt sharp, a sudden cold snap in the smooth fabric of his day. The next incident was more unnerving. Adam had spent a week tracking down a crucial research file for his exposé. He distinctly remembered renaming it, encrypting it, and saving it to his private drive before bed. The following morning, the file was gone. Not moved, not hidden by an organizational glitch. It was deleted. His stomach dropped. Adam was meticulous. He had triple redundancies. He spent 4 hours desperately trying to recover the data. The deadline came and went, missed for the first time in his professional career. He had no excuse. He was forced to submit an incomplete piece. The glitches continued, growing bolder, more personal. His preferred pen, one he had carried for a decade, vanished from his shirt pocket, only to reappear 2 days later, not in the pocket, but sitting beside his bed. He found a strange, subtle scratch on the polished wooden doorframe of his bedroom. 3 parallel lines that he knew hadn't been there before. He swore he smelled a distinct, musky perfume in his hallway, a scent he hated, even though he lived alone. One evening, walking home through a busy, lamp-lit market alley, he glanced into a large, polished brass mirror hanging outside an antique shop. He saw his own reflection. He slowed his steps, and the reflection slowed. But just before he looked away, he saw a subtle, momentary delay. His own reflection, for less than a second, continued to stare straight ahead as Adam's eyes had already shifted right. It was infinitesimally small. It was impossible. but the certainty of the observation, the sudden, visceral conviction that his reflection had moved a split second too slow, sent a spike of pure, cold panic through him. He sought out Amira, his elderly neighbor, who lived below. He carefully recounted the incidents: the shifting mug, the deleted file, the scratch, the delay in the brass mirror. Amira didn't look surprised. She simply lowered her chin. She whispered the name. "You have disturbed your Qareen, my son." Adam scoffed. "A Qareen is a jinn, a companion spirit. They are unseen." "They are unseen unless they are provoked," Amira corrected gently. "Every soul is given one, a twin born of shadow and air. It is a double with all your memories, all your desires, but without a soul's conscience. Your meticulous order kept yours silent. But when the chaos of the world slips into your mind, the Qareen sees its chance. It manifests. It begins small, trying to confuse you. Then it attempts to replace you. It knows everything you know, Adam. It wants your life, and it knows exactly how to take it. Your mirror has already seen its face." The ancient wisdom hit Adam harder than any physical blow. It was himself that was the enemy. Adam's immediate response was to revert to his training, observation, and logic. But the Qareen had already escalated. He left his apartment, determined to tell his boss the truth. His colleague Nabil met him in the hall, his face cold. "I didn't expect to see you, Adam. Not after what you sent to Al Jazeera." Adam blinked. "What are you talking about?" "The email, the one where you claimed their lead journalist was being bribed. It was unsigned, but it came from your IP address, written in your style. You ruined a man's career for a petty scoop." Adam felt the ground tilt. "I never wrote that." Nabil held up his hands, stepping back. "The evidence is there, Adam. The editor already disciplined you. He called it a breach of integrity." Adam stood frozen. The Qareen had moved past broken mugs. It was attacking his reputation. It was attacking the very foundation of his identity. It had been walking the city, speaking with his voice, doing things he could not conceive of. He stumbled to his phone and called Zahra, desperate for an anchor. "Zahra, please, I need you to confirm something for me. Did we have an argument recently?" Zahra's response was slow and hesitant. "Yes, Adam. Last night, you said you were frustrated with my job, that I was dragging you down. You said we needed a break." Adam dropped the phone. The argument had never happened. He had been alone, logging his stolen possessions. The malignant double had not just spoken to his boss, it had driven a wedge into the heart of his life. The Qareen was poisoning his world with words. The betrayal of his fiancée was the cruelest blow. He staggered home, chaining himself inside the prison of his apartment. He sat perfectly still, staring at the empty space before him. He sat for hours. Then he heard a sound, a faint, precise scratching coming from his bedroom door. It stopped. After a moment of terrifying silence, the handle began to turn, slowly, silently. The door swung open into the darkness of his bedroom. No one was there. He turned his head to look away toward the hallway mirror, and there it was. standing right behind the center of the sofa, exactly where he had just been staring, was him. A man who was the perfect, terrifying echo of Adam. Same clothes, same height, same precise haircut. But the Qareen wasn't moving. It was completely still, gazing at him with an expression of profound, chilling calm. Its eyes were black, polished mirrors that reflected none of the life or panic in Adam's own face. It spoke, not with sound, but with a cold, clear voice delivered directly to Adam's inner ear. I am tired of waiting. Adam launched himself off the sofa with a scream, scrambling backward, snatching a heavy brass lamp. The Qareen remained perfectly still, watching him with that placid, terrifying smile. Adam swung the lamp, not at the figure, but at the mirror. The brass hit the glass with a violent, shattering explosion. When the dust settled, the mirror was broken. The Qareen was gone. But Adam saw a second, subtle image in one of the central pieces, a reflection that was calmly wiping the dust off its immaculate sleeve. The Qareen was not a ghost. It was a tangible, malignant presence, and it was tired of waiting. The war was now overt. Adam knew he couldn't call the police. The Qareen knew his memories, his secrets, his habits. It was him, in every way that mattered to the outside world. Adam clung to Amira's wisdom. The Qareen has everything except a soul's conscience. It can imitate, but it cannot feel genuine empathy or remorse. He decided to test it. He called Zahra, his voice shaking with forced composure. Zahra, please, I need to meet you. We have to talk about my father. This was the key. Adam's father had died in a tragic accident that Adam had always felt secretly responsible for. It was a deep, complex trauma. The true Adam could never speak of without profound guilt. They met at a quiet riverside cafe. As she sat, Adam saw him, the Qareen, sitting 3 tables away, reading a newspaper, a perfectly composed duel waiting to intercept. Adam started speaking of his father, pouring out his genuine grief and guilt. Zahra only sighed. Adam, you already told me this. Last week, in fact. You told me the whole story. But you were so cold when you spoke of it. You said you regretted wasting time on the guilt. That's what hurts the most. You've become so cruel. The Qareen had used his most private tragedy as a weapon. It had already delivered the memory to Zahra, but stripped it of all feeling, making the real Adam's display of true emotion look like a hollow, desperate repeat performance. The Qareen looked up from its newspaper, meeting Adam's eyes. It gave a slow, smooth, contemptuous nod. The memory was now useless. Adam rose, despair turning to white-hot clarity. The horror wasn't in the mirror, it was in the echo. He had to create a final test, one that demanded not memory, but a choice of the heart. He chose the Khan el-Khalili market. He sent a text that was short and strangely distant. Meet me by the spice vendor. I have something to tell you about us, something permanent. When Zahra arrived, her face was strained with fear. Adam began his final test, a confession Zahra had never heard, a secret so painful and so deeply buried it contained the rawest piece of his true self. I need to tell you why I always hated that old faded picture of us by the Nile. Adam began, his voice low and cracked with genuine remorse. I lied to you. You were so happy, talking about applying for that scholarship abroad, and I told you to wait. I did it because I was terrified of losing you. I destroyed your chance simply because I was selfish and weak. I ruined your future, and I have carried that shame every day since. He looked at her, letting the profound, genuine sorrow flood his face. This act, admitting a devastating, selfish failing purely out of a need to confess, was an act of selfless vulnerability. Zahra's eyes widened, a flicker of genuine shock overcoming her weariness. The Qareen realized the trap. It strode forward, perfectly positioned to replace the original. "Don't listen to him, Zahra," the Qareen exclaimed, its voice precisely Adam's. "He is lying. He is trying to confuse you with ancient history." The true Adam looked into her eyes and said only 3 words. "Go, Zahra, run." The Qareen, driven by pure instinct and the need to secure its life, reacted not with love, but with possession. It did not speak words of care. It reached out and grabbed Zahra's arm with a sudden, selfish force, pulling her towards itself. "Don't listen to him. I am Adam. You belong with me." The Qareen had committed an act of forceful self-preservation, utterly unlike the true Adam's final act of sacrifice. Zahra flinched. The copy had broken the illusion with its single act of malice. But the moment of recognition was too late. The Qareen had the upper hand. The duel lashed out at the original Adam. The world blurred into a terrifying maelstrom. In the noise of the market, the scene looked like a confused brawl between 2 brothers. The struggle was brief and brutal. The Qareen won. The double gently takes Zahra's hand, offering a comforting but vacant smile. He leads her away, blending effortlessly back into the crowded flow of the market. His walk is slightly too smooth, his smile slightly too empty. The real Adam is left behind. He is not dead, but worse. He is trapped in the Qareen's echo, a permanent, silent shadow that no longer casts a reflection. He is attached to his former life, screaming unheard into the crowded, noisy streets of Cairo, watching the shadow self walk away with the woman he loved. The Qareen had won. It had everything: the life, the memories, the voice. Everything except the conscience. And in the beautiful, chaotic heart of Cairo, the real Adam became nothing more than a perpetual, silent warning. Your shadow has a name. That's all for today. If you liked the video, let me know by hitting like. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe for more. You can watch another video of mine right here. See you next time.